Major League Baseball history tells us that trading a batting champion, a two-time All-Star versatile defender, for a 17-year-old lottery ticket pitcher who cost just $400,000 is usually the definition of surrender. But what if this shockingly lopsided trade wasn't about losing, but about setting the stage for the most calculated, ruthless rebuild New York has ever seen?
Welcome to 601 Daily News, where we dive deep into the seismic shifts rocking the Big Apple's baseball landscape, analyzing every piece David Stearns ruthlessly cuts from the Mets' core to create his ultimate weapon. The initial shock of the Jeff McNeil trade, following the near-simultaneous departures of Brandon Nimmo, Edwin Diaz, and Pete Alonso, leaves a jarring vacancy in Flushing, signaling an undeniable and painful Met-jur of the core. This is not just a roster churn, it's a full-scale demolition of the identity that defined this club for the past several seasons. When you strip away the contract jargon and the future promises, the immediate, human cost of this move hits hard, especially concerning McNeil, a player whose story was intrinsically linked to the Mets' recent, albeit flawed, triumphs.
You have to look past the occasional locker room noise, the outbursts, and the rumored spats with Lindor, argued veteran baseball columnist Sam Brody, speaking to us earlier this week. Those narratives unfairly clouded what an exceptional player McNeil actually was. This was a 12th-round pick who spent 6 grinding years in the minors, being told repeatedly he needed more power, better plate discipline, or that his defense wouldn't translate. Brody continued, emphasizing a crucial detail often forgotten in the trade frenzy. He never added the power, that's true, but he became an elite contact hitter, a plus defender capable of playing 4 positions capably. He won a batting title in 2022 by mastering a skill, bat to ball, that is increasingly rare and valuable. Trading that level of proven, hard-won versatility and production for $10 million in budgetary savings and a high A prayer is a staggering gamble. The cold, hard data backs this up. McNeil's career strikeout rate hovered around 13%, drastically lower than the league average of nearly 23% during his peak years, demonstrating that his contact skills were not merely good, they were generational artifacts in the modern slug or strikeout era. Now, the natural counterargument immediately surfaces, pushed by those close to the organization. They had to change the mix. McNeil was part of the friction, part of the negative vibe that permeated the clubhouse. And while it is true that David Stearns is clearly focused on reconstructing the chemistry, not just the talent, of the Mets locker room, sacrificing proven performance solely for a vibe shift is the definition of corporate mismanagement. Unless, of course, the acquisition of Yordan Rodriguez is truly revolutionary.
Rodriguez, the 17-year-old righty acquired from Oakland, is the purest definition of a lottery ticket. Yes, he throws 96 miles per hour with high spin rate ride, and his 2.89 ERA in the Dominican Summer League is promising. But as a $400,000 international signing, Stearns essentially traded a guaranteed $15.75 million contract, of which the Mets only covered $5.75 million, for a prospect who is statistically years away from sniffing the majors.
This transaction isn't about immediate improvement or even moderate cost savings. It is about absolute payroll flexibility and asset hoarding, a commitment to building a deep farm system even if it requires trading beloved established pieces. This brings us to the incoming solution, Jorge Polanco, who, in a move that signals the end of the Pete Alonso era, is transitioning to first base. This positional shift is where the central conflict of the Mets' new strategy truly escalates. Polanco, a career middle infielder, is being asked to learn a new position in the high-pressure environment of New York, a challenge he approached with surprising confidence in his introductory press conference. When asked about the transition, Polanco responded with the relaxed air of a seasoned professional. "The conversation was easy because I was already making the transition last year, offering my services as a versatile infielder to teams, including first base." He credited his preparation, specifically mentioning the work done with infield instructors like Perry Hill. "The confidence Perry Hill instilled in me, the hours of early work, that made me feel comfortable selling myself as a first baseman," Polanco stated. This willingness to adapt is further underlined by his jaw-dropping mechanical overhaul last season, where he achieved a statistical anomaly, the largest strikeout rate reduction in a single season in Major League history, plummeting from an alarming 30. This specific data point suggests Polanco possesses not only athleticism, but an elite mental capacity for structural change and dedication, qualities essential for surviving the New York spotlight. The question then becomes, why is Polanco so eager to join a team actively shedding its star power, especially when asked to take on a new high-stakes defensive role? Here lies the unexpected plot twist, revealing Stearns' true objective.
Polanco openly admitted the departure of giants like Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso was surprising, but he quickly pivoted to the bigger organizational picture. It's business, yes, but what drew me here first and foremost was how the Mets organization cares for their players, and crucially, their families. He noted his conversation with Starling Marte, who vouched for the culture. They didn't just talk business, they spoke about accommodating my wife and 4 children.
That level of concern for the family unit, that's what impressed me most. This reveals the deeper, quieter strategy. Stearns isn't just seeking financial flexibility. He is attempting to establish a new cultural foundation, a place where players want to be, regardless of the immediate win-loss column. The climax of this offseason purge is the painful reality that the Mets are embracing a sacrificial year, focused intently on 2026.
They have traded McNeil's proven versatile production, the reliable bat-to-ball skill that provided a .300 threat, for the abstract promise of flexibility and a high-ceiling arm. They replace him with Polanco, a dynamic but defensively converted player who brings the mechanical commitment and desired clubhouse culture Stearns demands. The emotional cost is high. The pain of seeing beloved players leave is real.
But if Polanco's success at first base and Rodriguez's development validates Stearns' cold pragmatism, then the painful, almost ruthless choices made this winter, the gutting of the core, the trading of the batting champion, will not be remembered as failure, but as the necessary, brutal groundwork for a true championship contender 3 years down the line. The sacrifice of immediate cohesion for long-term, calculated cultural and financial restructuring defines this new era. The Mets are now fundamentally different. So hit that like button, share this analysis with every fan demanding answers, and subscribe to 601 Daily News. We've broken down the pain, but the question remains, did David Stearns pay too high a price in emotional capital to achieve this structural flexibility?